Imagine buying an apartment at a bargain price only to discover it hides deadly and inexplicable secrets. This is the story of the Macabre Apartment, where a young man faces horrors beyond imagination. Press play and get ready for fear. Liam was a 25-year-old who had finally saved enough to buy his first apartment. After months of searching, he found a property in a central location in the city at an incredibly low price. It was an unmissable opportunity, and he didn't hesitate to close the deal. When visiting the apartment for the first time, Liam was enchanted by the view and the ample space. The previous owners had left some furniture, making the move even more convenient. However, there was something strange in the atmosphere of the place. The air felt colder than usual, and an oppressive silence filled every room. But Liam attributed this to the apartment being empty for some time. On moving day, everything seemed to go well. Liam was excited to start his new life in that place. His friends helped him organize everything, and within a few hours, the apartment already looked like a home. But that first night, Liam realized something was wrong. As he lay down to sleep, he heard low whispers coming from the hallway. He thought it was just his imagination and tried to ignore it. However, the whispers didn't stop. They seemed to intensify, and Liam began to feel a strange presence in the apartment. He got up to check but found nothing. He went back to bed, trying to convince himself it was just the fatigue from moving day. In the following days, strange events began to intensify. Objects moved on their own, lights flickered, and the air seemed to get heavier each day. Liam tried to rationalize these events, thinking it might just be unstable electricity or the old building. But one night, while watching TV, he saw a shadow move down the hallway. When he went to investigate, he found nothing but a chilling cold. Liam began to investigate the apartment's history, asking neighbors about the previous owners. He discovered that the apartment had changed hands many times in recent years, and everyone who lived there had either died mysteriously or disappeared without a trace. The last tenant, a solitary man, had been found dead under strange circumstances. One night, Liam had a terrible nightmare. He dreamed he was trapped in the apartment, surrounded by dark shadows. The shadows whispered his name, coming closer and closer. When he woke up, sweating cold, he realized that the whispers from the dream continued in the real world. The shadows from the dream seemed to materialize in the apartment, moving along the walls and ceiling. Desperate, Liam tried to leave the apartment, but the door wouldn't open. The windows were locked, and no matter how hard he tried, he couldn't find a way out. It was as if the apartment was alive, trapping him inside. Determined to find out what was happening, Liam decided to seek help. He consulted a paranormal investigator who reluctantly accepted the case. The investigator, named Mark, was experienced in dealing with hauntings and agreed to spend a night in the apartment to observe the phenomena. That night, Mark installed cameras and sensors throughout the apartment. As the night progressed, the paranormal activities intensified. The cameras captured images of shadows moving quickly, and the sensors detected sudden drops in temperature. Mark tried to communicate with the spirits but received confusing and disturbing responses. During the session, Mark had a vision. He saw scenes from the past where former residents were pursued and killed by a malevolent entity. The entity seemed to feed on the residents' fear and despair. Mark realized that the apartment was cursed, and anyone living there was doomed to suffer the same fate. Liam, desperate, asked Mark how he could break the curse. Mark explained that the entity needed to be confronted and banished, but the process would be dangerous and uncertain. With no other option, Liam agreed to try. The next night, Mark and Liam prepared to face the entity. They performed a banishment ritual, reciting ancient words of power and burning sacred herbs. As the ritual progressed, the entity began to manifest more intensely. The shadows became denser, and a grotesque figure emerged from the walls. Liam, feeling overwhelming fear, tried to stay calm and follow Mark's instructions. The grotesque figure approached, and the air was thick with suffocating negative energy. When the entity was just a few feet away, Mark uttered a final prayer, invoking a protective force. The entity attacked, and the room was engulfed in violent force. Mark was thrown against the wall, and Liam felt excruciating pain as the entity tried to grab him. With all his strength, Liam continued to recite the ritual's words, even when he felt he might not survive. Mark, recovering from the impact, joined Liam in the ritual. The entity let out a deafening scream and began to dissipate, but not without leaving deep marks on both of them. The apartment shook, and it seemed the walls would collapse. Finally, with a last joint effort, they managed to banish the entity back into the shadows. The apartment fell silent, but the air was still heavy with the memory of the terror they had faced. Mark, injured, told Liam that the curse was broken, but that the apartment would never be a safe place again. He advised Liam to move out immediately and never look back. Liam, shaken and scarred by the experience, left the apartment that very night. Over time, he tried to rebuild his life, but the scars of what he had lived through never disappeared. He knew he had faced something beyond human comprehension, and that the apartment would continue to haunt him in his nightmares. Want part 2 of this story? Leave it in the comments. If you have a horror story and want to see it published on our channel, send us your story.